Greetings, class. It is my attempt today to not create an Academy Award winning production, but to hopefully provide a time-effective way for you to stay on top of the class. And so what I will do today is give you hopefully a 7 to 10 minute overview of what's happening this week, and hopefully that will provide the momentum to keep you moving in a positive way. What I'd like to be able to do is switch between WebEx and Blackboard and a couple other programs just to make sure that we're hitting the targets well. First thing I'd like to do is return to my desktop and look at Blackboard. So as you look at the Blackboard information this week into week 5, you'll see several things that you're very familiar with. The week 5 assignment summary, which will provide the focused overview of what will be happening. Of course, that is in your week 5 folder. As we look at options and opportunities here, of course we are not having our normal WebEx. This video will be sent to you via email and also through your announcement board. As we look at our Monday, of course, we're not going to have our normal WebEx session. You have the opportunity to do that as time allows for you. I would suggest that you do it on Monday or early in the week. You have had, we've covered much of the information in the Hall and Hoard text in Chapter 6 on innovation and innovative configuration concepts, and also Chapter 7 and 8 will be the focus of our reading, and Chapter 6 in the communication text. One primary assignment this week, as you see from the document on the screen, is our discussion question and our forward thinking. And again, I want to continue to emphasize the quality work that you have done in the forward thinking. Although it's reasonably small number of points, it has been a wonderful opportunity to learn from each other and from our sites. Primary thing that you will be doing, of course, is looking at the continued development of your final project. The next item that you'll see is a reading summary. This week's reading, I believe, is very strong quality reading. I always like to look at it from a practitioner standpoint. Lots of quality conceptual theory involved, but things that you can use very, very well as a practitioner. First one, in Fundamentals of Organizational Communication, Chapter 6, you'll find a comment that I put in here: in today's culture of PLCs, action teams, faculty learning teams, a learner's ability to facilitate, a leader's ability to facilitate organizational groups is critical. Chapter 6 provides a strong review of essential content in regards to productive teams, understanding, and leadership. Team-based organization and workplace democracy. I think that's a quality way to look at things. That everything doesn't have to be a vote. Everything doesn't have to be a total democracy. But as we work as a democracy, as a family, as a team, good things happen. Small group experiences, types of groups, directional groups, primary work groups, long-standing groups, action teams. A lot of vocabulary that helps plant some seeds of different ways that you can use teams in your organization. Directional groups, quality teams, quality continuous improvement, task force, focus groups, social support groups. One of the things that we found at Eastview High School recently, as we look at morale and organizational climate, not culture but climate, is how we support socially, how do we engage with groups, interorganizational groups and communities of practice, not a professional learning community where we check things off, but communities of practice that we deeply engage and we don't have gaps in our implementation. So a community of practice different than a traditional PLC where sometimes we just check things off. The other item I think is real important as we look at Hall and Hoard, implementing change, patterns, principles, and potholes, Chapters 6, 7, and 8, primarily focusing on Chapters 7 and 8, a culture of continuous learning support, implementation of change, PLCs, culture, 17 factors of quality PLCs, collegial learning, and also change intervention mushrooms. And one of the things that talks a little bit about is things that we don't have control over and things we want to get control over. A couple graphics to highlight some of the more important parts of our reading today are also included. If we go back to our Week 5 folder, a couple other items that you will see. The final project summary, which is what we covered last week. I would encourage you to again look at those items, make sure that you're hitting the targets. One of the things that we haven't had a lot of time to talk about, and in a planning course or a change course that includes planning, we are really focusing on the environment itself, but I want to include 2 other items in here, and these are not critical for this course, but some things that you want to look at. How are you handling that in your organization? If you don't have a plan for that within your organization or a template for it, I included some items that hopefully you'll find important. This is a sample from 2010-2011 at ECU High School. Again, isn't the way to do it, but just a way to do it. What does it involve? How you put together a team charter and a template, what's involved in that. All of these different items that you could use possibly as you put together a plan for change in your organization, or as you become a principal. Again, not the end all, but one option, and you'll find there are hundreds of different ways that are very similar to that option. If we go back to that file, that week 5 folder again, action planning, you'll also see a couple of different items. An action planning brainstorming form that is a wonderful opportunity just to start looking at what are the tasks, what are the items that I need to engage with to make this happen, be it with a large group or a small group action team. And the last one is a document that I found very, very important, and it's an older document from 1965, really, research on teams. And the reality of teams being, every time we bring a team together, I'm always thinking of we form and we come together, and there are certain dynamics that happen. Usually within that group there's a storming time where things aren't going real well. We're trying to figure out each other and trying to figure out our process. Norming as we start to get over that hump, and then performing where we become not on autopilot, but becomes a self-functioning, a self-directed team, again because we've put the parameters around it. And it goes on to talk a little bit about where those items are. So every time that I bring a group of people together, I always think of the forming, storming, norming, performing, because as we come together and we have that positive feeling, it's directed by the leader, and at some point it becomes a little bit more difficult. Some people are saying, what are we really doing here, and is this productive? We need to remind ourselves that there is a storming time where it isn't perfect, and we need to make sure that we have our foundation set well, that we have our parameters and understanding of ourselves as individuals, and also we have a charter, a team charter, where we are going, why we're doing this is very, very important. Let's go back into our course assignments one more time. As we look at content and assignments, the other thing is I put 2 other videos, again short videos, concern-based adoption model, using the concern-based adoption model, and I think these items should set the stage very, very well. Again, assignments for this week are simple. Your discussion question, your forward thinking, and continuing to work on your final project summary. As we get into week 6, our final week, we will not be presenting those, but we will have a discussion about what you found and some culminating discussions as we complete the class on the week 6 Monday. Again, during the week, if you have questions, I will be well connected to email. If need be, to have an individual session. If you miss me that much on WebEx, happy to do that. Bottom line is I want to make sure that as we get into our final week that you are hitting the targets well, that you feel very comfortable. We will have our week 6 discussion on WebEx at the normal time at 7 o'clock to look at the final week of planning for your final project. We will also have a last discussion question, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Again, I hope this was a productive way to do this. I'll try to edit it a little bit so it is a quick, simple process that keeps the momentum going. Again, best wishes for a great week. Please let me know if I can be helpful. Thank you.